Hello and welcome to Better Body Movement. This class is designed to help you start feeling well.
I have less pain, literally eliminate that pain.
I just feel better.
I can tell that my posture is changing.
Bright light in the day when we've done our workouts online.
Makes me feel so good about myself.
The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon that pulls on the back of the heel. The gastrocnemius also has two different heads that pass the knee joint to the back of the femur. The gastrocnemius and soleus both work to create plantar flexion, whereas the gastrocnemius also assists with knee flexion. Start sitting on the floor using a foam roller. Begin by placing your calves on the foam roller. Using the weight of your legs, flex and point the foot to create a better release. As you work up the calf, roll the knee outward and inward to get more of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius heads. Continue to work through that tissue for 7 to 10 repetitions on each part of the calf that is tender. Next, use the massage stick. To make sure the calf is loose, use a step stool to lift the foot and allow the muscle to relax. Start near the bottom of the soleus and pull towards the top of the gastrocnemius. When you find a tender spot or a knot, stop the massage stick where it is and create pressure into that spot, creating a jostling motion without rolling the massage stick up and down. Make sure you breathe and relax the muscle tissue. Continue this same process all throughout the soleus and gastrocnemius, even the side of the lower leg, until you feel you've gotten all of the tender spots. Be sure to use firm pressure as you roll the tissue. The muscles running most deep to the soleus are the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. The tibialis posterior is responsible for inversion of the foot. The flexor digitorum longus runs all the way to the tip of the toes, creating flexion of the four toes and assists with plantar flexion of the ankle. From those illustrations, you can see how the muscles in the lower leg control the toes. To work the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus, we are going to need a lacrosse ball and a chair. With your leg on a hard chair and the foot over the edge, place a lacrosse ball in between the gastrocnemius muscles and press down into the tissue. Work the medial and lateral portions the same way you work the tissue of the tibialis posterior. Press into the ball and pull your foot up while you breathe in. After a full contraction up, drop the foot and relax your breath. Work your way to the medial portions, continuing to breathe during the contract and relax sequence for 7 to 10 repetitions. Then move out to the lateral portions for 7 to 10 repetitions. The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon that pulls on the back of the heel. The gastrocnemius also has two different heads that pass the knee joint to the back of the femur. The gastrocnemius and soleus both work to create plantar flexion, whereas the gastrocnemius also assists with knee flexion. Start sitting on the floor using a foam roller. Begin by placing your calves on the foam roller. Using the weight of your legs, flex and point the foot to create a better release. As you work up the calf, roll the knee outward and inward to get more of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius heads. Continue to work through that tissue for 7 to 10 repetitions on each part of the calf that is tender. Next, use the massage stick. To make sure the calf is loose, use a step stool to lift the foot and allow the muscle to relax. Start near the bottom of the soleus and pull towards the top of the gastrocnemius. When you find a tender spot or a knot, stop the massage stick where it is and create pressure into that spot, creating a jostling motion without rolling the massage stick up and down. Make sure you breathe and relax the muscle tissue. Continue this same process all throughout the soleus and gastrocnemius, even the side of the lower leg, until you feel you've gotten all of the tender spots. Be sure to use firm pressure as you roll the tissue. The muscles running most deep to the soleus are the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. The tibialis posterior is responsible for inversion of the foot. The flexor digitorum longus runs all the way to the tip of the toes, creating flexion of the four toes and assists with plantar flexion of the ankle. From those illustrations, you can see how the muscles in the lower leg control the toes. To work the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus, we are going to need a lacrosse ball and a chair. With your leg on a hard chair and the foot over the edge, place a lacrosse ball in between the gastrocnemius muscles and press down into the tissue. Work the medial and lateral portions the same way you work the tissue of the tibialis posterior. Press into the ball and pull your foot up while you breathe in. After a full contraction up, drop the foot and relax your breath. Work your way to the medial portions, continuing to breathe during the contract and relax sequence for 7 to 10 repetitions. Then move out to the lateral portions for 7 to 10 repetitions.
All right, good morning. We are ready to go for our leg day. Remember, as we continue to go through these workouts, you're trying to progressively increase the amount of work that you're doing. So whether that's resistance by adding weights or bands, whatever you might have at home, or you can increase repetitions, how many times you perform our movements. So today is all about the legs, using your butt cheeks, making sure the muscles are able to do what they're supposed to. So we will have 4 rounds and work our way through. There's 1 minute of rest in between each round. So I hope that you're ready for that. We will review some of the tools as soon as we get started, so that way you can jump right in and get going with our warm-ups as we go, okay? But first, we always start with our iDedicates. So all workout long, this will be up overhead. That will tell you exactly who we're praying for or dedicating this time to. It doesn't necessarily have to be a prayer, but it's this moment of dedication for these individuals. So each one of them has a specific need that's going on right now. So we start with Lori's mom, is doing dialysis 3 times a week. Ethan has stage 4 liver and bile duct cancer. My friend's wife with breast cancer, as they treat that naturally. And then Kira has had radiation. She's had lymphatic surgeries. So just praying for strength as she continues to get stronger. We're going to continue to pray even more over her for that. And then Jim, Kira's dad, is in a pretty rapid decline from pancreatic cancer. He's been battling that for about 5 years. So, and then we're praying for Jane, Carol's friend. So Carol's online with us live, so we love that. So we're going to continue to pray for Jane and her family more so, as she is in a pretty hard transition point right now. Our verse of the day, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5:8. One of those Beatitudes, right? All right, so here's the tools that we would need if you're following along with Jenny at a basic rate. It's going to be the stability ball, a foam roller, and a chair. If you're doing an intermediate with me, you just need a band. And advanced with Jacob, you want a small band and a large band. So you can gather those tools, get ready to go, and then we'll start with the warm-ups. Get those arms going right. You can start with the shoulders even, right? Feel the position of the shoulders and where we're at, right? So Monday we did the core, right? So that still applies to today's training, doing the core work. And then Tuesday is upper body, right? Learning to pull those shoulder blades down and back. So we want both of those still today, okay? So you want to be working into that, challenging yourself through it, making sure that your shoulders are maintaining your posture and your core is bracing your spine as you produce movement through the hips, okay? But right now we're just connecting all of that to the brain, right? Where are my shoulders? What's my core doing? Large circles backwards, really open that chest, right? We don't want to be just slumped forward doing this, right? You want to be nice and tall. Open up. Whoop. Squat. Okay.
Are your bones supposed to crack?
Not supposed to, but they do. Yeah, I've got my right shoulder does some weird cracking stuff. Typically, the more I warm up, the better it gets. Yeah. Right. So what we know is just typically that muscle tissue is like popping over itself. So if you get the snap, crackle, pops, right? We got the Rice Krispies in the morning. It's just because we haven't been moving, right? So typically we need to just start stretching that tissue and get it moving, allowing it to more readily flow over top of each other. A lot of times that snapping, crackling, popping, especially if it's not painful, it's just really tight bands that are just snapping over each other. Okay, so that's really what's getting us. So that's why we move, right? Motion is lotion, Eric Dalton would say. Okay, good marches. Okay, now we go into the leg swing. Remember, if you have any sort of low lumbar issue like spondylolisthesis, spondylitis, narrowing basically of the foramen, your low back is missing discs or has herniated discs, we don't want the hips to shake. Okay, so you're going to already compress that core. Just let the hip joint go through some of its range of motion, right? We want to make sure that we're still lubricating those joints. The old runaway foam rollers. That happens. All right. Switch legs. Make sure we get good synovial fluid going into that joint, getting loosened up. All right, hip flexor stretch. For this, we do have a very specific way we're doing it. Back leg straight, okay, lock the knee in. It doesn't have to be way back, okay? It can be just behind your hip a little bit, and then you're gonna tuck your butt underneath with a straight knee. Okay, it makes a really big difference. Then you can pull up and switch, right? Other leg back, straight knee, tuck your butt. That tuck, right, tucking the pelvis underneath is what opens up that hip flexor. So we want to make sure that continues to happen, okay? I'm a little close to myself. There we go. Cool, cool. Good warm-ups. Again, we're really focused today through our workout on squeezing a penny between the butt cheeks, okay? So everything that we do
two,
We're squishing it,
one.
okay?
Get ready to squat.
Here we go, ready for the squats. So again, if you can take and put a band around your knees, that's really helpful. You want to be ripping the floor apart. Okay, get ready for your squats,
Three,
ladies. Moving
two,
in.
One. Squat.
I know I'm a fun wrecker, but I'm pretty sure you show up just so I can tell you to move. Good squats. Again, rip the floor apart. Imagine you're standing on a newspaper. I want you to just, with both feet, be pulling out, right? So obviously your feet won't move because they're on the ground.
That's halfway.
But we do want that sort of pressure. Drive out, 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 all the way down. Again, recompress your core. Always important through our movement to maintain spinal bracing, because I don't want to see a shift either direction in your low back, right? I don't want super arched, but I also don't want tucked in bent.
Transition to single leg step down.
Pressing your core will level out that spine through your movement. Okay, so make sure we keep that going through the day. Remember, round one you can use as a warm-up round to the movement.
Single leg
right?
step down.
We don't have to get crazy with it right away. Make sure everything's connecting. I really like using round one as a neurological component, right? Am I thinking through shoulder blades? Am I thinking through my core? Am I squeezing my butt cheeks together? Just go slow,
That's
control.
halfway.
Make sure everything is firing how it should. Really how it should is just think about that, Penny. Penny between the butt cheeks, belly getting punched, and then pinching the bra strap with the shoulder blades.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
Good. Okay, other leg. Again, just doing your best through each movement. So if that's depth, right, how far down you go on something,
3,
you go through
2,
it that way.
1. Single leg step down.
Good, again. Doing your best to maintain that spinal posture and position, right? Pinch those shoulders and compress that core. Most likely, after 2 repetitions, we forget it, right? So we have to remind.
That's
Right?
halfway.
Remind ourselves. Compress. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Do your absolute best. Good compression. Awesome, awesome. And again,
3,
every time you come up
2,
tall, squeeze those
1.
butt cheeks.
Transition to good morning.
Okay, good mornings. Horizontal movement of the hips. Okay, so if this is the edge of my wall or the wall behind me, I want to push my butt to that
3,
wall
2,
and then stand
1.
up.
Good morning.
Right? So very different than thinking just reach for your toes. Right? I want to take and actually shove my butt back to the wall behind me, then squeeze up. Okay, makes a very, very big difference when we add that in. Good,
That's
tight
halfway.
compression. Awesome work.
Three, 2,
Good.
1. Transition to monster walk.
All right, monster walks. Again, if you can put a band on, remember the band at the knees is
3,
less difficult.
1. Monster walk.
Band at the ankles is going to make your lever longer, right? It's a longer lever with pressure, right? So the further down we put it, the harder it is. Okay, and one thing we do want to watch for is if we have kind of a knock-knee
That's
position,
halfway.
you still just want to put the band at the knees, okay? Because what I would hate is for you to train even harder to push your ankles out against that rather than push the knees out. Very big difference between those two positions. But as always, you're still thinking pushing
3,
your feet
2,
into the ground,
1.
contracting the
Transition
butt.
to VMO left.
All right, VMOs. So you can sit down, stand up, or put a band behind the knees. Either way, we're thinking straight knee, locked in place. Pull the toes up towards the knee. Okay, flexing that foot.
3, 2, 1. VMO left.
Good squeeze. Nice and tight. Compress, compress, compress. Sit tall. Shoulder blades down and back. Squeeze. Tight, tight, tight.
That's halfway.
Your best all the way through. Very good. Remember, tight compressions. Squeeze firm.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Awesome. Here we go.
3, 2, 1. VMO right.
Good. Lock that leg. Right? Tight, tight, tight squeeze. Pull the toes up towards the knee. Awesome. Good. Tight compression.
That's
Squeeze firm.
halfway.
Sitting tall, pulling those shoulder blades down and back. Doing your best all the way through.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Okay, hamstring curls. Remember, sit nice and tall. Pull those heels hard, hard, hard.
2, 1. Hamstring.
Bend those knees. Pull those heels. Bend those knees. Pull. Good. Shoulder blades down and back. Core compressed.
That's halfway.
Good. Awesome work. Way to go all the way through. Remember, pull through it. Sit tall. Heels hard, hard,
2,
hard.
1. Long rest.
Awesome. Very good. Round 1 is complete. So go ahead, grab a drink. Make sure we get set up and ready for round 2. Again, now that we're done with that first round, kind of connecting our brain to movement, we can use the next 3 rounds to slowly start building in either repetitions or resistance, okay? Just try to challenge yourself more and more, okay? Because challenge brings change, and that's what we want for you.
Three, 2, 1. Get ready to squat.
All right, getting set and ready.
3, 2,
Yeah,
1.
make sure
Squat.
you rip the floor apart. Doing your absolute best to stay tall, core compressed. Squeeze through. Good.
That's halfway.
Good, good, good. Again, rip the floor apart, stay tall, compress that core through the movement up and down, right? And make sure we're bracing that lumbar spine.
3,
Good.
2, 1. Transition to single leg step down.
Okay, so you can be doing step downs, lunges, RDLs.
Three, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Here we go. Yep. Getting more and more rides. That's what he's doing.
That's
Looking for the
halfway.
ride.
And all the small bikes are out.
Mm-hmm.
So that big bike that I guess I believe on Friday for Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
Good.
Like Jeremy.
Load it up. All right, here we go. Other side. Again, make sure you focus on your
3,
form, the
2,
quality of your movement.
1. Single leg step down.
Right, so we want to make sure, as always, pressing and holding that core tight. Right? Should be able to give yourself a little belly whack, hold and brace against that, or you can think thumbs to the side, fingers towards the front.
That's
just
halfway.
squeeze into it. Make sure you're really tight through the whole thing. Okay? Firm compression. Get on nice and tall.
Three,
Good
2,
control.
1.
Awesome.
Transition to good morning.
Very, very good. Set for your good mornings. Again, butt to the wall.
3,
There's a
2,
wall behind you.
1. Good morning.
Again, horizontal movement. Push your butt to the wall behind you, making sure your legs stay straight. That's where you're going to
That's
feel your
halfway.
hamstrings most. Then you can use those, that tension, to squeeze up. It's like you're driving your heels behind you and almost towards each other, right? Like you're pinching them in a V direction behind you, okay? Drive those heels
3,
back
2,
behind you.
1. Transition to monster walk.
Good. Monster walks. Remember, set up, make sure you're pushing into the floor, squeezing the butt cheeks still, trying to keep that tight.
3, 2,
Good monster
1.
walks.
Monster walk.
Very good. Awesome.
That's halfway.
Good. Yeah, remember, tall, tight, core compressed, firm squeeze. Some
3,
tight,
2,
tight, tight.
1. Transition to
Good.
VMO left.
Okay, VMOs. Left and right.
Three, 2, 1. VMO left.
Here we go. Good. Tight squeeze through the knee. Contract firm. Awesome, awesome. Again, shoulder blades down and back. Stay nice and tall.
That's halfway.
Squeeze that core. Compressing firm all the way through. A tight knee. Pull the toes up. Push that heel away. You're really trying to
3,
lengthen
2,
your leg.
1. Transition to VMO right.
Good.
3,
Tight squeezes.
2, 1. VMO right.
Other leg, make sure you get it locked in place. Then you can do a lift if you want to do a lift. Okay. You're going to take those little breaks and actually bend the knee and straighten it. Make sure on the straight you get a tight squeeze, 1, 2, and then let
That's
it back
halfway.
down. Okay? Because we're not just focused on movement, we're focused on how the muscle tissue actually squeezes to create a strong contraction through movement. The stronger the contraction, the easier it is to move.
3, 2, 1.
Good.
Transition to hamstring curl.
All right, hamstring curl. So again, pull those heels nice and hard, sitting tall, core compressed, shoulders down and back.
3, 2, 1. Hamstring.
Very good. Bend those knees. Drive hard, hard, hard into that foam roller. You're really thinking, pull.
That's halfway.
Sitting tall. Make shoulder blades still down and back. Compress that core all the way through. Doing your absolute best. Your absolute best. All the way.
3,
Good. Tight
2,
squeeze. Tight squeeze.
1. Long
Awesome.
rest.
All right. Another chance for a water break. We have 2 more rounds. So remember, we're going to continue to try and challenge ourselves as far as how many repetitions we do in an exercise or how much resistance we can tolerate. Okay, the more resistance or more repetitions, the more growth or change our bodies will actually experience to help us move well throughout the day. That's our focus. How do we apply what we learn here to today? Right? It should translate into our everyday movements.
3, 2, 1. Get ready to squat. Three, 2, 1. Squat.
Here we go. Good squats. Compress that core. Stay nice and tall. Shoulder blades down and back. Squeeze firm. Good.
That's halfway.
Awesome. Very good. Tall tight, tall tight. Awesome.
3, 2, 1.
Good.
Transition to single leg step down.
Okay, single leg step downs. Again, it's all about control on the way down. So if I'm doing single leg work, I'm going down, I want to control through my core, push my hips
3,
back,
2,
right? I'm not just bending
1.
my knee forward.
Single leg step down.
Hips back, sit down, and then stand up. Okay? Again, on your stand, every time you get up tall, your butt cheeks should be clenched super tight. No one's getting the penny out of it. Okay? Squeeze that penny tight and keep it there. Okay, good. Tight squeeze.
That's halfway.
Firm compression all the way through. All the way. Okay, doing your best to make good tight squeezes.
Three, 2, 1. Switch sides.
Awesome. All right, other side. Oh, creaky.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Remember, strong contractions, right? Oh, yep.
Just don't eat it.
Been there long enough. Good contractions, tight squeeze.
That's halfway.
Firm all the way through. Okay, again, coming up all the way tall, butt cheeks are pinching together, driving you tall. Okay? Tuck all the way through. Very good.
3, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
Awesome. All right. Good mornings.
3, 2, 1. Good morning.
Good squeeze. Come up nice and tall. Again, travel those hips backwards and then come up tall. Right? So reaching back as far as you can. It should kind of pull you onto
That's
your heels
halfway.
a little bit. Straight legs. Make sure those hamstrings get really tight. Pull you up tall. Right? So it's that drive up. Okay? Again, recompress the core. Pull those shoulders down and back.
2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Good. Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Monster walk.
So for everybody decided
Good, good, good. Tall, tight, tall, tight. Hold and
That's
compress
halfway.
firm all the way through. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, shoulder blades, down back. Firm compression. All the way through.
3, 2,
Good.
1. Transition to VMO left.
Okay. VMOs.
So, oh wow. So Frank must have done it too. Money from his job.
3,
Here we go.
2,
Good.
1. VMO left.
Tight squeeze. Right? Drive that leg straight. Make sure you get a good contraction, blocking the knee out. Flex the foot so the toes come up towards the knee and push your heel away. You're thinking extend your leg as far as you
halfway.
can. Right? So you should really feel this above the knee. Get those muscles nice and tight. Your best. Good.
3,
Tight squeeze.
2, 1.
Awesome.
Transition to VMO right.
Okay, VMOs. Other side. Squeeze tight.
3, 2, 1. VMO right.
Right, so if you're doing anything kind of like me here, where the leg just stays straight, every time it comes down, you need to re-squeeze and lock it back out. Right, if we do isometric movements, that means the joint is staying still. You need to continue to think through the contraction. Right? Connect the brain
That's
to that
halfway.
muscle tissue, force it tight, and continue to squeeze. Firm, 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 all the way through. Yeah, doing your absolute best.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl. Three, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Hamstring.
Good. Get tall and tight. As we continue to go through this, you're squeezing the back of those legs, right? You're driving those heels, bending the knees. Really,
That's
really
halfway.
firm. Doing your absolute best all the way through. Okay? Absolute best all the way through. Good, firm compression. Okay? Squeeze nice and tight.
3,
Awesome.
2, 1. Long rest.
Awesome. Okay, very, very good work. Remember, as we do round 4, I want you to challenge yourself harder than you have the previous 3. Okay? Make it really difficult so that way we can see some incredible change.
Three, 2, 1. Get ready to squat. Three, 2, 1. Squat.
Okay, here we go. Good squats. Again, rip the floor apart as you perform this movement, right? So we're sitting the hips back, rip, 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 stand up tall, tuck those butt cheeks. We're on squats. We had our long rest already, ladies.
That's halfway.
I only wanted to do 3 rounds anyway.
Well, there we
That's all
go.
My body was going to take together.
Why, hello. I mean, I know. Very good.
2, 1. Transition to single leg step down.
Okay, here we go. Single leg work. Remember, challenge yourself through the movement, especially through single leg work. You can do things where we either hold on to something and go even
3,
further down,
2,
use your arms to help
1.
up. That
Single
balance
leg
work can
step
be
down.
really beneficial, right? So you might not be going through big ranges of motion, but you might be forcing your balance to really come into play. But no matter what, again, remember, penny between the cheeks. Every time you're up tall, your butt cheeks should be smashed together, okay? Squeeze
halfway.
hard, hard, hard. And all the way through. Again, recompress that core. Squeeze nice and tight. Very good.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
Okay, other side.
Three, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
So again, focus your movements, right? Still connecting, compressing that core, holding those shoulders down and back, and squeeze those butt cheeks up tall, all the way tall.
That's halfway.
Halfway. Again, recompressing. Squeeze tight. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
Good. Good mornings. Again, travel backwards. Okay, so my butt should be going all the way behind me,
3,
keeping that core
2,
tight, shoulders
1.
down and back.
Good morning.
Okay, again, I'm not focused on reaching my hands to the floor. Okay, I'm focused on keeping my spine in a nice alignment as I hinge right at the hip joint. Okay? So part of this is thinking too, your belly button is traveling towards the floor. Right? Belly button is
That's
driving
halfway.
down to the floor. Okay? As always, when you are in that tall position, pinch those butt cheeks together. Get tall, get tall, get tall. Tuck the butt underneath. Reach back. Squeeze up.
3, 2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Very good. Here we go. Into the monster walks. Remember, band at the knees if you need it, or down at the ankles.
3, 2, 1. Monster walk.
Good compression through your core. Okay, I like to hold my stomach with my fingers, right? Keep that tight as I go through it. Okay, firm compression all the way. Doing your
That's
absolute
halfway.
best, continuing to work through it. Tight squeeze, tight squeeze. Very good. All the way, all the way.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
Good. All right. VMO on each side and some hamstrings, then we're all done. So fantastic work. Glad you're able to keep up with it. Sort of.
3, 2, 1. VMO left.
Well, if not keeping up, at least finishing through. Good. Tight knee squeeze. Again, you're thinking pressing the heel away, pulling the toes up, right? Forcing this straightening of the knee as hard
That's
as you
halfway.
possibly can. Good. Tight squeezes. Okay, doing your best. And all the way through it. All the way through it.
3,
Awesome.
2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Okay, other leg.
Before she started, I kind of left her alone.
3, 2, 1. VMO right.
Remember, stay tall, tight, compress that core, squeeze the knee tight, drive the heel away, toes up, firm, 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 all the way through.
That's halfway.
Awesome work. Tight squeeze, all the way through.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Here we go, last one. Sit tall, pull hard.
2, 1. Hamstring.
Remember, we're trying to drive the heels towards the butt, right? Pull them underneath you. Or think like a recliner, right? Drive the heels down. So we're bending those knees, sitting tall. Still core compressed, shoulders down and back. Pull, pull,
That's
pull,
halfway.
pull. All the way through it. Try to finish through, finish through. Again, if you're holding what we call isometrically, you're bending those knees and driving your heels into the foam roller, you have to re-squeeze. You have to reconnect your brain to the muscle tissue.
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
Awesome. All right, very good work. So glad you guys could be with us. Remember, if you have not yet, please do subscribe to the channel below. We are here to help you move well and live well, and we plan on doing that every single day, Monday through Friday, except holidays. So Monday, we will not be running a class. So if you do want to still get a core routine in, that's fine. You can just visit last week's core routine or even tomorrow's core routine and get that in over our long weekend. So that being the case, we will be doing core tomorrow. So join us then. Remember, if you can't join at the live time, you can join anytime, right? We just stream these each day and then put those recordings out for you to be able to get your workout in whenever you're able to. So make sure you plan it into your day in some way, shape, or form and continue to create better body movement. We'll see you later.
The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon that pulls on the back of the heel. The gastrocnemius also has two different heads that pass the knee joint to the back of the femur. The gastrocnemius and soleus both work to create plantar flexion, whereas the gastrocnemius also assists with knee flexion. Start sitting on the floor using a foam roller. Begin by placing your calves on the foam roller. Using the weight of your legs, flex and point the foot to create a better release. As you work up the calf, roll the knee outward and inward to get more of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius heads. Continue to work through that tissue for 7 to 10 repetitions on each part of the calf that is tender. Next, use the massage stick. To make sure the calf is loose, use a step stool to lift the foot and allow the muscle to relax. Start near the bottom of the soleus and pull towards the top of the gastrocnemius. When you find a tender spot or a knot, stop the massage stick where it is and create pressure into that spot, creating a jostling motion without rolling the massage stick up and down. Make sure you breathe and relax the muscle tissue. Continue this same process all throughout the soleus and gastrocnemius, even the side of the lower leg, until you feel you've gotten all of the tender spots. Be sure to use firm pressure as you roll the tissue. The muscles running most deep to the soleus are the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. The tibialis posterior is responsible for inversion of the foot. The flexor digitorum longus runs all the way to the tip of the toes, creating flexion of the four toes and assists with plantar flexion of the ankle. From those illustrations, you can see how the muscles in the toes. To work the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus, we are going to need a lacrosse ball and a chair. With your leg on a hard chair and the foot over the edge, place a lacrosse ball in between the gastrocnemius muscles and press down into the tissue. Work the medial and lateral portions the same way you work the tissue of the tibialis posterior. Press into the ball and pull your foot up while you breathe in. After a full contraction up, drop the foot and relax your breath. Work your way to the medial portions, continuing to breathe during the contract and relax sequence for 7 to 10 repetitions. Then move out to the lateral portions for 7 to 10 repetitions.